This is the Apple iPhone 14 Pro. This is a flawless iPhone. I think it's time to upgrade. Hi everyone, this is JD, your gadget review friend. Welcome back to Gadget Rev Now. I had this phone for a bit and played with it, and I think I get a good grasp of everything it offers. There's no flaw in this iPhone if you're wondering. The only challenge I see is the price. Because not everyone may want to shed 1,500 Canadian dollars for something this expensive. But if you're looking to upgrade and maybe keep the iPhone for a while, maybe a couple of years or even stretching to 4, I think we have a winner here. This is the full review of iPhone 14 Pro. Let's dive into it. With its A16 Bionic, this is the fastest phone right now, not even the regular iPhone 14 or 14 Plus, because they have the same processor of last year's iPhone 13 series. If you're planning to buy the iPhone 14, you may better off the last year's iPhone 13 seriously. So going back to the processor, the A16 Bionic is built on a more efficient 4nm process. It has a 6-core CPU, a 5-core GPU, a 16-core neural engine, and 1 billion more transistors than the A15 for a total of 16 billion. Basically, the latest mobile CPU like Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, last year's A15, and the current A16 has more power than most smartphones, and what the user needs, this is an overkill. What might be more important about this is the energy efficiency and, of course, the artificial intelligence that enable things like the AI feature, power management, and the dynamic island. Let's talk about the best software feature of this phone, the dynamic island. I'm not downplaying the existence of this feature on this iPhone, but some YouTubers are right. We've seen it before with the LG V10 with their dedicated secondary screen, but this is even better. So let me explain how this works. There's really a camera hole in the top middle part of the iPhone 14 Pro, but there are overlaying black animation that make it look alive whenever an app calls for action. The icons there is the same as the lock screen icons, and also the widget, it is literally the same so it looks neat and integrated. All in all, it's a neat implementation, it is symmetrical, and the animation looks gorgeous. And speaking of gorgeous, I can't say enough about the design and build. It's kinda boring now, but this is the best and most premium build you can ever get. It is a stainless steel frame, same with last year, but brushed with glass back and glorious shiny screen, which is protected by Apple's ceramic shield, a transparent material that contains ceramic crystals for extra screen protection. I remember I talked about Oppo Find X5 Pro having the ceramic back and how great it is. Apple infused the ceramic crystals to the glass. Apple has not changed the button placement, keeping the volume buttons, the silence slider, and the power button in the same spot. The microphone ports and the speaker grills are the same, and yes, even the lightning port. This iPhone is a little bit on the heavy side, but you'll get used to it. The iPhone 14 Pro is also water and dust resistance. I brought my iPhone 13 mini, same IP68 rating, on some water and diving actions before without any case, and it survived, so you don't need to spend another fortune to buy camera and GoPros, as this one will cover the same function. Also upgraded on the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max is the ProMotion Display's adaptive refresh rate, which again starts at 10Hz and goes up to 120Hz. The slower refresh rate are used for more static content, and the faster ones are for gaming and videos. This adaptive means the screen will eat less energy when it doesn't need to constantly update the display. Another key feature is the always-on display that can go as low as 1Hz with all the beauty it can show you. The wallpaper is still visible with all the useful information. Yes, it drains the battery faster, but you can always toggle this off on the settings. The brightness is 1000 nits, but the Super Retina XDR OLED is also capable of 1600 nit HDR brightness, and for outdoors, a whopping 2000 nits. I was able to experience this firsthand outdoors, and I must say this is one bright screen and a tad brighter than all Android flagship counterparts. I was able to download the iOS 16 update right after I bought this phone, and one of the biggest changes is the search button on the home screen, new lock screen, editable text message, email unsend, and a lot more. There's also two features that Apple discussed which hopefully you won't be using, the car crash detection and the SOS messages using satellite if there's no cell service. The iPhone 14 Pro has stereo speakers with one speaker on the bottom edge of the phone and the other along the top edge of the screen. These speakers are capable of getting very loud without noticeable distortion. They also support spatial audio. This became my review phone when I'm creating YouTube videos because here I can gauge how the audio of the video sounds like. I enjoy watching Netflix and Prime videos on this phone that hits the battery as well. So let's talk about the battery and the monstrous battery life of this phone. We always rant about the battery replacement program of Apple, but now I think it won't be an issue since a fully charged iPhone 14 Pro can get you a long way. It took me 3 days to burn the battery of this phone on a personal usage, no kidding. I check my email, I check my text messages, go to my social media feed, 30 minutes of videos, sometimes watching a full movie. I might have turned off always on display because I find it confusing that my phone is still on, and yeah, took me 3 days to drain this. I usually have a better phone for gaming, so even though this is capable of high-intensive gaming, I'm saving my precious money for early battery replacement. And we're saving the best for last, the camera. Apple hasn't changed up the camera arrays design, but virtually everything about iPhone 14 Pro 3 rear cameras is new. The 3 lenses are 48 megapixel wide, 12 megapixel ultra wide, and 12 megapixel telephoto. These are new lenses and larger sensors, and the most interesting camera is undoubtedly the 48 megapixel wide. This is Apple's first pixel binning sensor, and that means it captures 12 megapixel images with 4 pixels combined into one effective larger pixel, which results in better low-light performance and color fidelity. The results on the main camera is impressive, the colors are great and inviting, and low-light performs equally well. Again, if you're buying iPhone 14 Pro, you may save a little bit buying expensive camera because this might do well in situations you needed to shoot in stunning photos and videos. The ultra-wide and telephoto also have better low-light performance, and the newest feature is the lossless 2x digital crop. Since the main sensor is 48 megapixel, 2x crop will save 12 megapixel image, and a lot of details are still preserved. On the video side, Apple has upgraded the cinematic mode to support 4K 30 FPS. Footage looks great, and every time you use this mode, you will feel like you're a real cinematographer. There's also a new video mode, Action, which can be enabled by selecting a tiny Running Man icon in the upper right section of the camera app. Again, this feature kills the appetite of buying an action camera. With the right rugged case and sturdy attachments, you can use this as your action camera as well. There's no 8K video recording like what we see on the Samsung Galaxy S22, but 4K I think is sufficient. So what is Gadget Rev Now's verdict? Is this time to upgrade? iPhone 14 Pro is a breath of fresh air, the very reason why they are sold out right now, both iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max at the time of this recording. I will not recommend this to iPhone 13 Pro users. If you have those, stick with it. If you can live with the notch for one more year, maybe check out iPhone 15 Pro. And I will recommend this to older iPhone users or even Android users who wanted to get the best iPhone right now. With its great camera, symmetrical dynamic island, great battery life, bright OLED screen, and the finest build you can get today, iPhone 14 Pro is a flawless iPhone, and yes, this is the perfect time and the perfect phone for an upgrade. And there you go. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll continue to compare this phone in our channel, so stay tuned. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.